So today's session is about the business of lighting, digging deep into electrical partnerships, margin, design, and product selection. So let me turn to Glenn. Glenn, the Adaptive Design Group, is one of the preeminent lighting design firms in the country. Who are the members of this modern tech design team?
You know, I do a lot of teaching and in the architectural interior design world, and everything starts with every project starts with an architect and an interior designer, and these people are incredible artists, three-dimensional thinkers, but they really don't know or are trained on what we do as lighting design professionals or what the integration, the CI channel. They have a vision of what they would like these properties and these luxury homes to look like, but they're only 50% of what I call the modern design team. Added to that team, the architect and interior designer is a professional lighting designer. We happen to do lighting controls and programming and engineering of the controls and electrical engineering, but then we need the CI channel integrator to be part of that modern design team at the design development stage with the architect. It's the only way we have success in this luxury home world that we're involved in, is if everybody is working together up front. As a team, we're all smart. We know what the costs of all the products and parts pieces are. Our role as that second, I don't want to say second tier, but the lighting design and the integration, we are also the educational team to educate the owners on what's available today in lighting and lighting control and LED and Ketra, which David had mentioned, and how to control all those parts and pieces, and home networks and theaters and cybersecurity. All these parts and pieces are very complex. And it takes that team putting all that information, educating the owner, talking about budgets and pricing, putting it all together on a fully biddable and buildable set of documents. And that's what's critical. And for all of us here in the room, electrical contractor through integrators, it's the only time and the only way for us to have fun, is because it's already designed, it's already engineered, we've created the experience with light, we've educated the owner's agreed that this is the direction that we need to go. We've produced the drawings and documents, and the contractors can be contractors and install and supply and put it all together. So that's the power of what I've coined the modern design team today.
Yeah, let's keep going on the design, and hopefully this is to the next thing. Okay, you have developed, we're talking about lighting design, a proprietary method of layered light, talking about the magic of light, the layer of magic light, called the adaptive method. Can you run through that for everybody? I don't know if you guys can see it on the screen. I guess you can. There it is.
Yes, happy to do this. So I wrote a book 24 years ago, published it 24 years ago, and this was the heart of the book. It was called The Art of Illumination, Residential Lighting Design. Got it in 25 colleges and universities to educate the architectural community, primarily, that lighting is such a critical component to their work. And in that process, I've developed what I call the adaptive method. And this is all about 8 layers of light. So this is going to help you completely rethink lighting design. And it's all about these 8 layers. The first layer is architecture. How are we going to beautify, through lighting, the architecture of the home? So we say we're architectural lighting designers because we're designing a lot of the ceilings. A lot of times architects are giving us a 10-foot flat ceiling for miles. Well, that's boring. Let's break that up to a tray ceiling, a cloud ceiling, cove lighting. All of that is the architectural element. Any other columns or stone that's inside the home or outside the home, let's beautify that. layer number one. Layer number two is the jewelry Jerry talked about, has a whole decorative lighting business. That's the jewelry added to the architecture. We're working heavily with the interior designers on location and selecting those decorative elements. And think about it as jewels. That's the watches, the rings, the necklaces, all those elements for wall sconces, sofa back table lamps, side table lamps in the bedroom wall, pendant fixtures, all of that. Whole nother world, actually. Hats off to you, Jerry, for being able to deal in that decorative world. Art is the next layer. The architecture and the interior design, we're working together as a team, dictates where the art program's going to happen for the house. Ironically, with the architect and interior designer, they're not showing the art program for the house. Largely, it's our drawings and our plans and our working with the team that we're locating all the art opportunities because we need to light the art. So that's just layer three. Layer four is path lighting. That's all you receive from an architect, right? If there's not a lighting designer involved, you just have circles on a plan and toggle switches everywhere. Unfortunately, that goes out to bid, and you're bidding circles and toggle switches. The electrical contractor is, and that puts Joe in a hard position because we all know that that's not what the owner wants. But anyway, path lighting is important, but done minimally to see to move through the furniture in the home. Task lighting, all the work surfaces, makeup, shaving, laundry rooms, wardrobe areas, big time task area so you can see to do a task. Interior design, we need all the furniture designs. We need the coffee tables, hutches, armoires, drapery, all of that needs to be pre-designed. Again, we're all working together, and then how we're going to illuminate that interior. Well, a big mistake that I see in the world out there in the 38 years I've been doing this is that even the interior designers will put, my belief is there's only two places to light people, and that's at the vanity for shaving, makeup, and the wardrobe for dressing. Beyond that, you never put a recessed light over a chair. A recess. You don't, I've had interior designers say, oh, we've got 20 chairs that are going in this area. I want a recessed light over every chair. Well, nobody's going to sit there because even if it's LED dimmed down to 2%, that's still a recessed light coming down on your head, casting shadows and all of that. Very, very distracting. So light the conversation area, never the people, other than those two areas. V is often overlooked. That's the view, the draw your eye through the windows at nighttime. And you can do that artistically and subtly. A lot of our projects are in dark sky environments, and I'm a big dark sky person. I've actually written codes for dark sky for developments. But you need to, once you add the layers of light that we've talked about to this point, and you don't do anything to draw your eye through the window, every window would turn into a mirror and reflect everything in the space. So you need to have that illumination through the view to draw your eye through, and then ultimately your eye lands on the exterior lighting, or E of adaptive. And so this is a logical, it's my trademark process, but it's a logical process to explain to your clients that it's not just 4 cans and a fan in a bedroom. It is layered illumination, hidden lighting sources, and that's the art and beauty of illumination that we've been creating.
And when an integrator hires a lighting design firm such as yourselves, they're going to get full documentation as a key element if you're working in lighting design.
The documentation is crucial. And with that adaptive layering process, I don't know if you can see on the screen there, that all of the lighting fixtures are tagged with one of those layers of light. So for the first time ever, an architect, an interior designer, And a homeowner can understand what the lighting plan is. It's not just circles and switch legs everywhere. It's really logical. And the beauty of it is we never get cut. You know, in a VE session, there's always a value engineering session, but because everyone understands those layers of light, it's not like, oh, let's take the decorative lights out, or let's take the art lights out, or the path lights, or the task lights. Our specifications hold strong because it's all logically put together, including the decorative lighting package, which we're dealing with 0 to 10 volt and dimming. You all have had to try to work out how to dim that fixture when there's no purple gray wire in the junction box, you know, so all has to be intimately designed in. And then we do all the keypad designs and control, and all the button presses are already pre-programmed and pre-engraved. Never take a client at the end of a project and have, you know, 6 buttons on the wall with an 8.5 by 11 paper and ask them what they want on those buttons. They will throw you out of the house. Rightly so. You need to engineer it in, program it, so it makes complete sense with the lighting package, and then you supply it. The other thing, Adaptive Design Group, we're not in the supply business. We're design and engineering and specification. So we're not supplying lights, we're not supplying shades, we're not supplying lighting control. We're just putting it all together for you, and partnering with integrators has been very successful. The key really for all of us here in the room is the architect. That is the key, number one. Because if the architect is not communicating to the homeowner early that you need pros to put together the lighting. I had an architect in Colorado who said, hey, we're general practitioners. We are not experts in lighting. We are not experts in home automation or integration or security. We're architects, and we've designed a beautiful home for you. The interior designer, the same thing. They're designing up the interiors. But this architect just said to the owner is, we need specialists. I mean, these clients happen to be in the medical profession, man. They understood it immediately. We need the pros to put all this together. And so, you know, everybody here in the room, architect is key. If we do a presentation, the adaptive, the modern design team, and lighting design and CI channel early on with that architect and that owner, we're done. And the worst scenario is when an architect does that generic plan that goes out to the building permit department. Nobody's ever told the owner that that's a throwaway document, that electrical plan that has lights on it, right?
Yes.
That's a throwaway plan. Nobody's ever told it, but that electrical contractor, unfortunately, has to bid those circles and those toggle switches. I had a builder tell me one time who does multi-million-dollar residences, and we've done successful projects with that builder, only when the owners brought us in. But he continues to do these multi-million-dollar residences, and I said, why don't you recommend us? You know, this is what the owner's gonna want. And he said, I will not even bring up your name. And I said, excuse me. And he said, no, because that's what I bid. That's what I had 3 electricians bid. Those circles and those toggle switches, and I don't care. I'm busy. I've got 10 other jobs that I'm going to. That's what we're installing. That's really tragic.
Real
I can
quick.
jump in there. So we do all the keypad designs and things in our drawings, and when lighting control first came out many, many years ago, integrated lighting control, I should say, you had 9 buttons on a keypad, right? We used to make it so complicated, scene 1, scene 2, pathway this, pathway that, and I had so many clients just say, doggone it, Glenn, just give me an on and an off. It's too complicated. So when Lutron came up with the Palladium keypad, and we've got 4 buttons, I had to kind of rethink our world. And in doing so, very simple. You want to make that user interface so simple and consistent room to room. You can drill down through touch screens and do all kinds of magic and things, but what we do is you have an on, and it's that client who said, doggone it, give me an on and an off. So you have an on button. That on button is the scene for the everyday use of that room with our 8 layers of light, right? So that is a scene, a brighter scene. The next button down is accent. That's all it says, is accent on it. That's the entertainment level of that space. The next level down says hallway or kitchen or whatever the next room is, and that's the on button for that space with the 8 layers of light. Next button or the last button could be a raise lower function. Last button pressed, you can raise lower that. So make it really simple. Just like if we were designing it for our children or grandma coming over, you don't want to ever have to give a manual or walk through, how do I operate this? Just make it simple. And those scenes, and that's the beauty of that adaptive logic that you could think about, is you'd never have your art lighting layer at the same level as your path lighting. You want that art layer up at 70% on the accent, and the path lighting maybe down to 15%, you know, and that's where logarithmically the drama and power of lighting control. I mean, it's so exciting today. We're in a great space, very easy to sell lighting design to an architect because they want it. They just don't know how to get there. Super easy to sell to an owner. And when you sell the lighting design, integrated lighting control comes right along with the package.